It's called a Noodle-Saber. You're holding on to the wrong part of the Noodle-Saber.
What's a Noodle-Saber?
Well, it's made out of pool noodle, but it's to look like a lightsaber. So you're holding it wrong, David. The handle is the black and gray part. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a stick, like a hiking stick. Yeah, it looks just like a hiking stick. Yeah,
that's not how you. Hold on. This is how you hold it. Boop. Bonk. That's how you hold it.
Yeah, this is perfect to defend people.
Yes, to defend people, not don't hit yourself.
My leg's not gonna have
The force is strong with you, definitely. Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Amanda from Hookemcreations and happy Star Wars Day! Yay! Y'all, I am so excited about this day because I am a huge fan of Star Wars. I grew up on Star Wars because my dad saw the original films in theater when he was like 9 or 10 years old. So I grew up with the Star Wars films, and I actually met my husband, and the first thing that we connected on was the fact that we both love Star Wars. In fact, our first date was seeing a Star Wars film in theater. If I remember correctly, it was during the time when Star Wars released the first episode, Phantom Menace, in theaters for 3D feature. So you got the 3D glasses, and there was nothing fancy about it until you got to the pod racing. That was really the whole purpose of that movie in 3D, was to watch it with was for the pod racing. But in all honesty, it was a great first date, and here we are 11 years later, still together. We have 2 kids, 2 dogs, and life is crazy, but we love it. So, in honor for Star Wars Day, I decided to create a Noodle-Saber pattern here on my page for anyone and everyone who loves Star Wars and has little ones like I do who want to just enjoy and pretend to be a little Jedi or a Sith Lord. Let's just stick with the Jedis for right now, okay? They want to be a little Jedi, then this is for you. It is fairly cheap, and if you have a stash of yarn that just needs to get used, this is a great stash buster, a stash busting project, or even if you just need to make things for a craft fair, this is another project for that you can just make easily. You can make dozens of these for craft shows and such, and they're so much fun. So the first thing you're gonna need, the list of supplies. First thing you're gonna need is a pool noodle. Okay, I already cut this one in half. I got this from the dollar store. So it was like $1.25, and it was like 47 inches. I cut this in half to 23.5 inches. So there's that. Next is a circular knitting machine. Now, I will say this is my Addi. So this one is 22 pins or needles, whatever you want to call these. So this is a 22. If you have a Centro brand or something of that, or something cheaper, I would say no smaller than a 20 pin circular knitting machine. So because you're going to need this, and any smaller will make it really difficult to get it around the pool noodle. Okay, and the next thing you're going to need is some yarn. Now, I do about 3 colors. I would say at least 2. For one for the handle and the second one for the blade. I asked my son what color I should make Next on the Noodle-Sabers, and he said pink. So I don't have a pink noodle, but I have pink yarn and it's close enough to red that I think we can make it work. So, but I mean, yeah, pink is a shade of red, just lighter. So I have two colors here that I'm going to use for the handle to make the fancy handle, but I also have another version that is plain and simple and basic, where you can just use the two colors, and I will walk you through that as well when it comes to the when we get to the pattern of it. The next thing you're going to need is some scissors, okay, because obviously you got to cut the yarn when you're changing colors. The next thing is, oh, I don't have my stuff out, that's bad. Next thing you're going to need is a yarn needle. Any kind works, or just use the one that is given to you by the manufacturer company that the circular knitting machine comes with. You can use that one as well. And this is optional. I keep a little pick with me. This is like a knitting loom pick. You can get these at the craft store for like $5. They're really cheap. I like these because they can get in there in case the yarn gets caught on the teeth or the needles or pegs or whatever. Or if I drop a stitch, this is really easy to get in there and fix anything I need to fix. So if you need any refreshers on how to work a circular knitting machine, be sure to go check out my videos. I have a whole playlist as well as just basic introductions on how to work a knitting machine and etc. So go ahead and go check those out if you need a refresher on how to work a circular knitting machine. But in the meantime, let's get to the pattern and have some fun making ourselves a Noodle-Saber. Let's go. To start off, make sure your count is at 0. I'm going to start with the lighter gray color here, and I'm going to start casting on. I like to cake my yarn before I do this, before I start any circular knitting needle or circular knitting machine project. That's just how I am. Again, if you need refreshers on how to do casting on, cast off, all that stuff, please go look back at my videos on how to do all that stuff. The cast on does not count as a row for this pattern. The first color, this light gray color, you're going to cast on, and then you're going to do 10 rows of this color. Already we got something caught. And here we're going to go ahead and cut the yarn and change colors. I know I haven't made an official video. I have not made an official video on how to do this, but I will show you real quickly how I change my yarn. So already I leave the 2 strands in the middle here for a second and hold it tight. For a couple stitches here. Once we get in there for a little bit, yeah, I know this one is caught too. I like to do is make a quick little knot. Make sure it's nice and snug. And then just let it go. From here, you're going to do 3 rows of this darker color. This is a dark heather gray. It has like little white specks in there, so that's what makes it heather. So it'll be 3 rows of this, bringing your row counter to 13. And once again, I'm going to change colors. Here. And with this light gray color, will be for 5 rows. Your row counter will be 18. And then we're going to switch colors again to this darker color. Tie this off. And this darker color, we're going to go for 14 rows. Your row counter will say 32. Change colors again. This next color will be for 5. Your row counter will say 37. Changing colors again. The darker color will be for 3. Your row counter will say for 40. And actually no, not the last color change. Putting in for the lighter color for 5, your row counter will say 45. And now we're going to change this color. We just made the handle. I'm now going to add the pink yarn, because now we're making the blade. And this, we're going to go for 80 rows in this solid color, bringing your row counter to 125. Now, I know I just showed you the fancy version of doing the handle. If you just want to be plain and simple, just the 2 colors, just do it for 45 rows and then do the other color, the blade color for 80 rows, bringing it to a total of 125 rows. Now, if your project gets a little long, go ahead and pull it up, and the weight of the fiber that you've already knitted up will pull it down. Excuse me. While you are knitting. And from here, now I'm at 125. I just finished 125. My counter will say 126 because the black needle is up, and that tells me that's the beginning of the next row. So from here, I'm going to cut a 6 to 8 inch tail. And put that away. And I'm going to also get a yarn needle. Here. And thread it and go ahead and take the stitches off. All right, from here, you're going to go ahead, we're going to do it inside out first because we gotta trim some of these strings, and also we need to make sure that they are secure and not very loosey-goosey. All right, so from here, because I tie it very tightly, I'm also going to secure it a little bit more. Real quick, I'm just gonna triple, just tie it a couple more times each of the. Now, if I see something kind of loose, then I might go back in and, yeah, this one is a little loose. I'll go back in and retie everything. Just means kind of opening it back up a little bit and redoing it, that's all. Just like so, and then I'll just snip it a little bit. Because otherwise, when kids are playing with it, they'll come undone. And we don't want that. We want them to be little Jedis. All right, and then all you do is take it and just like a sock, pull it right side out. And once again, stretch it out, make sure it's all good. Looks all good out here. This is where the color changes were, so they look nice and good. Now, get your pool noodle. Gotta put it in between. And you're just gonna, I like to scrunch it up like a sock first and slide it on. Just like you would with like compression socks. Which these are a little bit easier than compression socks, not gonna lie. Okay, from here, the strings on the ends, all you have to do is pull it nice and tight. Okay, make sure you do both ends before you do anything else. Now, from here, just take your yarn needle. And what I like to do is I like to thread it through the circle a couple times. Like so, and I like to go across. Again, make sure it's nice and secure. And one of the things I like to do is put in a little bit of a knot. And poke it through the middle. So it's nice and secure. Go ahead and pull that through. We're going to do that on the other side as well. Okay. Take this. Thread it through around the circle, around the entry. And go through the cross. There we go. Look how nice that is. Look at that. Beautiful. And there you go. You got yourself a lightsaber, and it actually works. How about that? And there you go. You just made yourself a Noodle-Saber. Like I said, if you just want to stick with the two colors, the first section is 45 rows and the second section is 80 rows, a total of 125 rows for a 23.5-inch pool noodle. If you love this tutorial and this pattern, give me a thumbs up. Tell me what your favorite Star Wars movie is. in the comments below. Be sure to hit the subscription button because y'all, this is not the only free pattern that's going to be coming out here on my YouTube channel. So hit that subscription button, get notified of when my next video comes out. And until next time, may the 4th be with you and happy crafting. That was cheesy. I have a pink saber. Zoom, zoom. Will it work? Will it work? No, it didn't work. Okay.